Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. I know it's been a while since I made a video, but I've been very sick, and as soon as I got better, my kids started getting sick one at a time, and then my husband got sick. So I am so sorry it's been such a while since I posted a video. But let's get right into the video. So today we will be talking about basic economy tickets, which the name is the same across the board for all airlines except for JetBlue, and we will get into that. So we will start with the basic economy with Delta Airlines. Airlines in their basic economy ticket, the main issue where people run into is the seat assignments. I know. See, it's you're on the flight for 2, 3, 4, sometimes 5 hours, and then the most important out of the whole experience is seats when it comes to people. So if that's the case for you, I would strongly suggest not buying a basic economy ticket for any of these airlines, because that's one thing you will run into. With Delta Airlines, seats are not assigned in advance. You can, however, buy the seats 7 days prior to departure for a fee. The fee does differ based on the routing and how long the flight is. It could be from $9 to $50. You just have to see where you're flying from and to and what the rate is. And you can also get a seat assigned 24 hours before with no fee at all. Unfortunately, in that case, you would just be looking at assigning whatever's left within the 24 hours, which could end up being a middle seat or something that you do not want, like a seat at the very back of the aircraft or near the bathroom, where most people do not want to be seated. There are no changes permitted with the basic economy ticket. However, due to COVID, they have made some changes to their basic economy fares, which means you're able to make a change. It will cost you a $99 change fee plus any difference in the fare or taxes. Now, they can waive that depending on the reason for your changing. If it's a bereavement or a medical emergency, something like that, I would just call them directly rather than trying to change it yourself on the website. The website is designed to automatically charge you for that fee. So you want to call and speak to a representative, explain your circumstance to them, and then most of the time they can make that exception and waive that fee for you. Cancelable partial e-credits, which means when you cancel your reservation, that ticket is sitting as an e-credit. It's a credit that you can use later on. It does have an expiration date, so you always want to find out what that expiration date is and then use the ticket prior to. Only because the e-credits, you do have to complete all travel before that expiration date. So if the ticket expires on the 20th, you want to make sure all travel is complete on or before the 20th, or else you lose the value of that credit. Now, one thing I will say, which a lot of people have an issue with, especially with the airline that I work for and the calls that I get daily as a supervisor, the issue is the tickets are non-transferable. So if you buy a ticket for yourself and then a month down the line you no longer need to travel, or you are going to visit maybe colleges with your kid and you can no longer go and your wife can go or your husband can go, and you want to change that name, it is non-changeable. You do want to keep that in mind. You do, however, have with Delta Airlines, you have a 24-hour risk-free cancellation, which means if you book the ticket today, you have until end of business the next day to cancel and get a full refund, no questions asked. After that 24-hour period, the fair rules do kick in where you're not able to change, or if you do change, you're looking at an arm and a leg to change. You are understandably last aboard and not eligible for upgrades. When they say not eligible for upgrades, Delta Airlines has their medallion members where they can buy a main cabin ticket and can be waitlisted for a Delta Comfort Plus upgrade or a first class upgrade if it's available. Now, when you buy a basic economy ticket, you are forfeiting all of those upgrades. You're not able to wait list, you're not able to upgrade, your spouse cannot upgrade, or a companion cannot upgrade. So you want to keep that in mind. And also with the non-changeability of that, they usually do not even make an exception to go from a basic economy to a main cabin. You have to fly as it is, and if you're not able to take the flight, you forfeit the entirety of that ticket. But with the waiver of the non-changeability aspect of the ticket, you are able to change and upgrade to a main cabin fare. Keep in mind, whatever the difference between the basic economy and the main cabin fare is, there is a $99 fee on top of that, unless they're willing to waive it for whatever reason. And you're not earning any miles on the basic economy ticket. And for the medallion members or the passengers who are wanting to earn medallion status with Delta Airlines, if you buy a basic economy ticket, you are not getting any of that. One more thing to keep in mind. Now, another key thing about basic economies when it comes to Delta Airlines, you can check a bag. Most airlines you cannot, and there's not even buying or paying a fee to check a bag. With Delta Airlines, the basic economy does not impact your baggage. You being able to check a bag, that's why it's not mentioned here, I'm guessing. With Delta Airlines, you are still entitled to your carry-on bags. It has to be small enough to fit in the overhead bin or underneath the seat in front of you. You are still entitled to your personal item, which has to be the size of like a purse or a camera bag or a laptop bag, something of that size. But if you want to check a bag, you can still check your first checked bag for X amount of dollars and your second bag or third. You just have to pay for that bag. Now, moving on to American Airlines. Yes, sorry. Similar to Delta Airlines, but there are some differences. With American Airlines, now we're only talking about domestic. If you guys want me to get deeper into the basic economy for international, I can do that. Just let me know in the comments below. With American Airlines, for their domestic travel, there are no free checked bags. You do get a carry-on and a personal item, but there are no free checked bags with them as well. Airlines charges the fee 7 days prior to. American Airlines, you can book it right away. You can assign your seat, but that fee applies right away. Now, you are eligible for upgrades, which is different from Delta as well, but the ticket is non-changeable. And it does not look like they're making any kind of exceptions when it comes to COVID and the changeability of that ticket. So just keep in mind, when you are buying a basic economy with American Airlines, you're not able to change that ticket. You have to take it as it is, or you lose the value of the ticket. Now, this right here is the same with every airline, the group bookings. Reservation agents are only able to book 9 passengers or less. If you're looking to buy 10 or more, they would have to get you to their group's booking, only because you can get more discount when you're booking 10 or more seats. American Airlines, you are able to check, it looks like a carry-on bag and a personal item. Again, the carry-on bag has to fit in the overhead. The overhead size is different depending on the aircraft. It could be a smaller aircraft or a larger aircraft depending on that size. You want to make sure your carry-on bag fits there or underneath the seat. You can also bring a personal item, which again could be a purse or a camera bag or a laptop bag. With American Airlines, it looks like you can definitely do same-day change. What same-day change is, let's say you're booked for a 6 a.m. flight and you want to change to a 6 p.m. flight. Within the 24-hour window, within the same day of travel, you are able to change to a different flight. It does carry a fee. Now, there is a difference there, which I did not mention with Delta Airlines. They do not allow same-day change when it comes to basic economy. You have to take it as it is, or if you want to change, it has to be repriced, and you are looking at the difference in the fare rather than a flat, let's say, $75 fee that they allow main cabin passengers to pay and change to a different flight. With American Airlines, it looks like it's the same thing. You would be looking at paying a difference in the fare to change from one flight to the next. United Airlines. So with United Airlines, it is similar to Delta and American Airlines. The only difference that I saw is they do not allow carry-on baggage at all. So you are allowed your one personal item that you can bring on board, again, overhead or underneath the seat. It does show that full-size carry-on bags are not permitted on select routes. So it may be allowed on a certain route. However, there is a $25 fee that's being charged at the gate. So you always want to make sure you're looking into these details before going to the airport. Most airlines do not take cash for security at the airport. So you would have to have a card, or if you do have cash, there are some kiosks where you can buy like a charge card and pay for it that way. Complimentary seat selections are not permitted. So you would have to get your seats again when you do check in at the counter or at the gate. This is the most restrictive I've seen, only because if you're not able to get a seat until you get to the gate, If the gate agent has nothing to work with, you're probably going to be bumped off of that flight, which is not good at all. They do not even make exceptions when you're traveling with minors. With other airlines, I do know that they do make exceptions. If you're traveling with a minor 5 years of age or younger, you, even with the basic economy, you can call in advance and let them know that you would not want to risk sitting apart from your child, and they will make that exception. I know I do it on a daily basis. And refunds are not allowed, which is definitely understandable with a basic economy. They do have that 24-hour flexibility window for you to cancel and get a refund. Um, Mileage are not being earned either. Your last booking, which is the same with every airline, pretty much. So you want to just make sure you look deeper into this. But pretty much the first three airlines that we've looked at is the same thing. There are some differences, but not big differences. Now with JetBlue, same thing there. Travel flexibility. There are no changes or cancellations fee on most of our fare except for the Blue Basic. So Blue Basic, I'm sorry, is what it's called. Change canceled fees are waived on Blue Basic Economy made. So there is a time frame where they allow changes or cancellations. I'm guessing it's when COVID first hit. Most airlines were making exceptions. So it says here changes for tickets that are booked on or before August 25th, 31st, 2021, and prior to June 7th of 2021. They do now charge a $100 fee to make changes if your booking is outside of these dates mentioned above. For international, it's $200, depending on the routing. So that's one thing to keep in mind. Most airlines are going back to charging that fee if you're buying one of their restrictive fares. So you want to make sure, if you are not sure if you're going to take the flight, if you're not sure if this is going to work, or again, if you're going to an event where it may be canceled due to COVID, I would strongly not advise buying a basic economy ticket, only because not everyone is going to be willing to work with you, or you're looking at an extra $100 to $200 to make that change, which is definitely not going to be worth it. Most of the times, let me tell you this, the difference between the basic economy and the main cabin ticket, I've seen it be $10 difference or $20 difference. It's not worth you paying $100 and $200 more to change later on for a $20 difference. It just does not make sense. Carry-on bag looks like is not allowed. Again, they do with their main cabin and their Blue Plus, Blue Extra. However, with the Blue Basic, you're not allowed to check a bag. You can bring a personal item, but not everyone can fit everything they need to take in a personal item, like a purse. So I would strongly not advise doing that. Changes and cancellations, again, there are date limits here. So bookings June 8th, 2021 or later permitted with a fee of $100. They do allow same-day changes for a flat $75 fee, same-day standby for a $75 fee. Now, before you do same-day standby, you want to make sure you're asking, if I clear, is that the only time I get charged a $75 fee? Or is it a $75 fee even if I do not get on board that flight? So that's one thing you definitely want to make sure. So seat assignments looks like additional fees 24 hours in advance. Again, they do not assign it in advance. However, even if you're trying to do it 24 hours before, you are looking at a fee. So this, again, this is the most restrictive I've seen it. You are final to board, which is the same across the board. Pretty much everything else is the same. The only difference here that I see is if you are earning points with them, every dollar spent is a mile that you're earning. Now, with earning miles, this is one other thing that I wanted to touch base. If most people think if you're buying a ticket and that total price of that ticket is $530, you think you are earning a mile for every dollar for the whole $530. Keep in mind, the base amount of that ticket, which is what the airline receives, is the only thing you'll be earning miles on. So if you buy a $300 ticket and the airline only received 200, the other 100 went to taxes, you're only earning miles based on that base amount, which is what the airline received, nothing more than that. So you always want to ask when you're booking a ticket, what's the base amount of that ticket? How many miles am I earning? How much am I paying in taxes? And if you're booking it online, it pretty much does lay it out for you. Tells you the base amount is X amount, and then this is the taxes, and this is the total. So if you're a passenger that keeps an eye on the miles, again, miles are very important because the more miles you earn, you can get free trips down the line. So if you're one of those passengers that keep an eye on the mileage that they earn, that is one thing to take a look at.